security, our fragile industry will be damaged for a very long time.
Thank you very much. Actually, since we added one question, I have one question left. I know it's 9:15 and you would like to go. I think we could wrap this up with one final question. And Mr. Djou, since you're the first speaker, if the group agrees, then that's what we'll do. And since ESTA and the visa waiver program have been mentioned several times, let's focus in on that final question. The visa waiver program was established to eliminate unnecessary barriers to travel and to stimulate the tourism industry. There are currently 36 participating countries, including South Korea, where in 2009, Hawaii arrivals reached 54,957, a 44% increase over previous year, with upward trends to continue in 2010. The visa waiver program requires visitors from these countries to complete the electronic system for travel authorization, ESTA, prior to travel for approval by the United States. One issue that we have had with the requirement of filling out this form is, what do the travelers do that are coming to the United States that aren't aware of this requirement? Are there provisions allowed for them to fill it out before boarding the plane, or will they just be denied boarding of the plane, or will there be an opportunity for once they arrive in the United States to fill out this ESTA form? That issue is still out there, and we're still grappling with it with the Customs and Border Patrol agency, but it is, again, a concern of how to balance the requirements of the safety and the rules with getting people to where they need to get to so that it helps the tourism industry. And sorry for that ad lib that you didn't see, but Mr. Djou.
The visa waiver program is an absolutely wonderful program. I believe that the United States government should not only continue it, we should expand it. We should add more countries excuse me, to the visa waiver program. I also want all of you to understand this is something that I understand personally. My mother was born and raised in Bangkok, Thailand, and I do still have some relatives over in Thailand. And a phenomenal amount of difference of coming over and visiting family here in Hawaii, coming over from Thailand versus a country such as, say, South Korea, is a huge and meaningful difference. It makes a meaningful difference in terms of what your first visitor experience is here in Hawaii. So I am a strong proponent of the visa waiver program. I think it's great that the United States expanded this to South Korea. I think we should expand it even further. I think that the United States should work with countries such as the Philippines, such as Taiwan, to expand these programs. I'll also go a step further and say that for us here in Hawaii, where visitor industry is such an essential part of our economy, and also I guess because I'm part Chinese, I never want to see us turn away a visitor. That if the government should not be turning away these individuals. If they didn't fill out the electronic form in their home country, there still should be an opportunity for them to come here to Hawaii and fill out these forms here at Honolulu International Airport or another airport here in the United States. The last thing we want to have happen is tell that visitor before they get on the airplane, well, you can't come, because then they're never going to come. The probability of getting that visitor to go through the hassle and the bureaucratic process is going to be very, very difficult and very, very challenging. So again, the visa waiver program is absolutely wonderful, and we have to do everything we can to expand it.
Thank you. There are about 36 participating countries now with the visa waiver programs. For example, South Korea in 2009, I think their visitor arrivals increased about 44% with this program. You can imagine what the implications are for countries such as China. They can also become part of this. Now, but we still have to balance, we're always balancing the concept of how we do that with security. Now, in addition to that, you also heard the reference to ESTA, or as I say, ESTA, which is the electronic system for travel authorization. And what that is, it's filling out your forms ahead of time, so that when you come here, you can avoid that process. There's also another component here that was also supported by the MBTA, and that is the concept of the global entry. And there's somebody here from the Hyatt, and when I went there the other day, I was so intrigued by the fact that they use biometrics in identifying their employees. So if you can imagine, the next step, I think, in all of this to assist and to ensure concerns in terms of how is it that we're going to ease the entry with technology as well, is to maybe incorporate some kind of biometric part, thumbprint or handprint or something in the process of the entry, and then you would have all of the different components working together. The visa waiver program, which then would permit the ESTA or the ESTA, which would then permit the kiosk system, the global entry, which would then allow, if you had a biometric component of it, to make it easier to come in and not sacrificing at that point security that we all must ensure. How we work it into the future, whether you should be able to just come here and put it in if you forget or at the airport, I think that we're going to have to take that a little bit slower, because you're not going to be able to probably evaluate the information you need to evaluate in that short period of time. But that time will come.
Mr. Case.
Well, let's just step back to the big picture again and ask what's going on here. The reason that we've required visas to our country is to control our immigration, to control the people that are visiting our country, and of course, since 9/11, increasingly control our own internal security. And those are all remain legitimate public policy goals. We do have to know who's in our country. We do have to control political immigration. We absolutely do have to make every effort whatsoever to keep people out of the line who is harmed. That's basically what happens when we implement the visa waiver program. We say to ourselves that we have adequate controls in place to address those concerns so that we can make it easier to come into our country. And I agree with my colleagues. This is not just a good program. This is crucial to Hawaiian tourism. Crucial to Hawaiian tourism. We would not have 1/3 of our visitors here but for the visa waiver program, at least 1/3. And we can get far more by increasing visa waiver programs across, especially the United States. And Taiwan is an example. And China is an even better example. Again, I go back to the information that I gained on my jump into China. It is what is preventing the travel from China to Hawaii is A, the difficulty in getting a visa, and B, capacity of the airlines. If we solve those problems, we will see amazing things happen in our tourism here. So visa waiver, you've got to take care of the security. I think and agree with your association in trying to deal with the security concerns, but we're not going to get this problem solved unless we convince the rest of the government that we have taken care of security concerns. It is easier to take care of security before somebody gets on the plane than when they get off the plane at the other end. And I think it's legitimate for them to ask that basic question. Can we assure security if somebody has a hit? I mean, after all, somebody's going to come to our country and visa waiver program without know the rules up front. So I'm not sure I can really agree with the principle that we should make it easier on the back end.
Thank you very much. Well, we're at 9:25. I was a little unclear if you wanted to have Marcia speak or if you wanted to do closing remarks by the candidates. Closing remarks by the candidates?